One day when I was in high school, I was hanging out with my friend Willow and their girlfriend Lauren. We had just eaten some takeout that we ordered and Lauren wasn't able to finish hers. She asked Willow if she'd be able to keep her leftovers in Willow's fridge for the next time she came over, and Willow said yes. I remember in that moment being so amazed at that. The idea of keeping your food in somebody else's fridge. I had heard of people wearing each other's clothes, but that never seemed as intense to me. Maybe because in a lot of cases the clothes would just end up staying with whoever had them last. Food is different. Food has an expiration date. There's an idea of there being a guaranteed next time for you to come over and eat it. There's a comfort and security in being able to do that. It felt really intimate to me. I wanted it. I became obsessed with the idea of finding somebody with a fridge for me to keep food in. I wanted to feel secure in knowing that person would be okay with me taking up fridge space, and knowing that not only was I expecting to come back to their house within the time frame before expiration, but that they were expecting it too, and that they were okay with it. I have a hard time with feeling validated in people's feelings for me, but that was validation enough. I will be back, and I will eat this food. After a while, I was able to find the right person, and as soon as I felt like she was feeling alright about her relationship routine, I went out and bought a half-gallon of chocolate milk. I didn't want to be too presumptuous. I brought it back to her apartment one night when we were going to hang out and played it off like I had just had a craving for chocolate milk and randomly picked it up on the way there and hadn't thought about how to keep it cool. I poured myself a glass, and every time I went back to our apartment afterwards, I would pour myself another glass. As I got closer and closer to emptying the half gallon, the more the chocolate milk tasted like this girl might actually like me. Things were going well until there was a period where she wasn't texting back as frequently. I wasn't going over as often. There was no explanation why this was happening, but the thing I kept thinking about was the half gallon of chocolate milk. If I didn't get back over there soon, it was going to go bad. I was starting to panic. What if I couldn't finish it in time? What does that mean for us? Does she not want me around? Maybe she didn't like me as much as I thought she did. Maybe she was just humoring me as part of some sick game. It was a foregone conclusion. After a day of her not getting back to me, I knew she had lost feelings, so I took the liberty of texting her and ending it. She probably wouldn't care, so I figured a text was fitting. She'd probably thrown the milk out anyway. I was 18 at the time and about to graduate high school. Even though this girl and I had really only been together for a month or two, that was the biggest heartbreak I'd ever felt. I grieved that relationship more than much bigger ones I've had since. I couldn't really tell you why, though. At the time, I was feeling pretty lost and obviously very insecure in my relationships with people. Still can be. After graduating, I moved in with a couple of friends from high school. I thought things would get better then, but I ended up feeling more lonely than I'd ever been. At the time, I was working as a delivery driver for a late-night cookie place. I would drive through this college campus nearby delivering cookies to people the same age as me, but I'd feel so distant. I didn't go to college, which was my decision, but it was still weird to see these kids my age living such a social and secure life. I dived headfirst into working life and living on my own, and was miserable. Even my roommates were in school, so they still had a foot in that security of what we've always known. To top it off, the fridge was always empty. Early on, I figured out if we got groceries, one of my roommates would get high and eat all the food, so I stopped buying them. It was around this time I started visiting my mom more often. She lived about 20 minutes away, and I think she appreciated my company when I would just come over to hang out for a bit. She just lived with my kid brother, and my older brother had passed a few years earlier, so I think she really valued the family time we got when I'd be there. We'd talk about my life as a new adult. I'd update her on my roommates, my jobs, my filmmaking, dates I was going on. I think she could tell I was sad. Eventually, she started randomly texting me to let me know she had gotten food. Hey, got you some chicken lo mein. It's in the fridge if you stop by. So if I was ever nearby, even when she wasn't home, I'd go in and eat some takeout that was waiting for me. Whether it would go bad or not was all up to me. Her refrigerator door was always open. Lately, I've been listening to the song Take It for Granted by Jeffrey Lewis, which kind of gave me the idea to write this video. I recommend listening to it. I know keeping your food in somebody else's fridge is a silly thing to dedicate so much time to, but it's also just a nice little thing to appreciate. I don't know if you should go as far as me and weigh the validity of somebody's feelings for you on it, but I don't think I'm stupid for paying attention to it or giving it some level of meaning. Whose fridge have you kept food in?